Let's move on to the game of the day.
Ooh.
Game of the night, maybe game of the weekend. Number 6, Tennessee at number 1, Auburn. Arguably the best home court advantage going in college basketball. That's what the Tigers get in this one. Janai Broome, questionable. We've touched on him on the last few podcasts. I think you brought up a good point on our last show that ankle injury, maybe at risk of re-injuring it down the stretch. So I would, if I'm Auburn, I'm not testing it here. This isn't a must-win game for them, even in terms of their number 1 seed potentially come the tournament. But Bruce Pearl said he'll likely be back in the next week or 2 if he doesn't play against Tennessee. Biggest thing to me, Justin, do you trust road Tennessee here? They've lost 2 of their last 3 road matchups in SEC play, and they didn't cover any of those 3 games.
Yeah.
Chaz Lanier in his last 5 shooting 31% from behind the arc. So he is not Dalton Knecht, despite the fact that in non-conference play, he was shooting an absurd clip from deep.
Yeah.
So what do you make of this one?
Really tough game to handicap. I do think this is a spot where, I'll be laying off. Tennessee kind of lives and dies by that 3-point shooting of Lanier.
KenPom has it 8, by the way. I would assume that means if Broome plays.
Yeah, I do think that is if Broome plays. And honestly, I think if he gets confirmed, it goes up to 9, honestly. And if it doesn't, I think it goes down to 6. So we'll see how it goes. I think that questionable nature obviously makes this one really tough to bet. I think Auburn likely takes care of business. Like you said, Jungle is a great place to play. Top home court advantage for sure. And they've been good there. And this is still the best offense in college basketball. Georgia gave them a little bit of a run for their money on the road, but I've been a big fan of Georgia. They gave my Johnnies some trouble. You want to bring it back to the Big East for the 15th time on the pod.
That's a team. Absolutely. We haven't touched on this enough, and I'll keep it short just because we're running a little bit short on time here.
Right. I know what you're gonna
SEC is a gauntlet. When you get those teams outside of the conference in the tournament, like we saw with Georgia against St. John's, that's where they can make a lot of noise. So even though Georgia just lost at Arkansas, I don't really care. Georgia could very well make an Elite 8 run in the tournament.
Georgia's 100-something to 1 to win it all. Great price.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke. This is a good spot to probably go against Tennessee. I think especially in the SEC, you don't lose that much. You have to win these home games. You hold court, and it can get a little ugly at the end. Like, they could foul, miss some shots. That's if it's close. I mean, they could foul at 7, and try to get back into it on a whim. If they're down 7 and it goes to 9, they miss the 3 and it ends there. Like that's very easily how this one ends. So I don't like the end game behavior for Tennessee at all. And I think you have to consider that in how you approach these games, because if it's close, I just don't see it ending close. I see it ballooning very, very easily to either side. So, look, if Tennessee, my favorite bet, if you want to bet on Tennessee, is the money line. My favorite bet on Auburn, you want to bet on Auburn, spread. I think the better bet of those two, more likely to win, Auburn, more value, Tennessee. So, however you want to play it. If you want to go the standard spread line, I think you'd want to take the number with Auburn here. But there's a million and one ways to play a bet. The distribution of results is, what I think happens is Auburn gets it done. What there's probably some value on is Tennessee showing up, hitting shots, defending well, Broome sitting, and they drop a game because guess what? It doesn't really matter. They're probably locked into a 1 seed right now. They would have to lose 3 or 4 games in a row. So.
I like that Tennessee sprinkle on the money line a little bit. My points toward the Vols here. I think Lanier is due for positive regression from behind the arc, and I'm going to say the D word here, second or third time on the show.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You mean expected to.
Right. Expected to hit quality shots like he hasn't been. And also, with Tennessee's defense, you mentioned how Auburn has historically one of the best offenses in college basketball in the last couple decades per KenPom. Tennessee ranks in the 88th percentile in terms of points per possession allowed on cuts, Bruce Pearl's flex offense, with or without Broom, is known for getting those easy buckets off cuts. If Tennessee defends well, rebounds well, Lanier gets a bounce-back game from deep, and they're able to match up in the half-court, transition defense also ranks pretty well for the Vols. Moneyline sprinkle isn't a bad play.
No, it's not. Again, this is one of those spots where, they were expected to win the Vandy game. Florida game was ugly for sure, but this team very well could have been perfect on the season. A little injuries, a little knocked up, but I mean, I'm not against Coach Barnes here. I think he does a very good job. The effective field goal allowed. This is going to be a test for Auburn. I mean, what defense have they seen that really looks like this? Georgia was the first one in terms of being a top 10 defense in effective field goal rate allowed. So I think this is one of those spots. Florida did it to Tennessee. Tennessee could very easily do it here. These are some of the best defenses and offenses. Anyone could have a good day. So yeah, I think in that sense, when you get these high level teams together, give me, plus 200. I don't know what it's going to open up at, plus 220,
plus
230.
230.
Plus 250. Love
Broom
it.
plays.
Love it. And then all you need is a run. And then hopefully you get out. Tennessee's leading by 6, in the first half because it's just a hot start. You get out on plus 135 on Auburn and you sit back pretty and you let your bet come home. I don't see any problem playing that way. There is probably going to be some back and forth. And again, if you don't agree and you think it's going to be wire to wire, you should be on Auburn minus 6.5 because that should be easy if it's wire to wire. But assuming this game is contested, Tennessee plays well, they get up for it. This is a big game.
They'll get up for this game. And
I think
Auburn
so.
has no look-ahead spot or anything like that. Not that they would. This is a huge matchup for them. Also, one look ahead, like way down the road here, middle of February, a few days before Valentine's Day, you and I cooking up some plans there for Valentine's Day. But if we want to handicap college basketball for a second, Auburn at Vandy on February 11th before taking on Alabama that coming Saturday. That is an excellent spot to fade Auburn. I wouldn't do it ATS here to your point, but I don't hate a little sprinkle on the Vols money line.
Me neither. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be a great game either way. Definitely both those high-level clashes are ones to watch.